All right,
There we
I'm back.
go.
There we go.
There we are. Much better. What's going, boys?
Good.
Good.
How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Hanging in there.
Good. Well, thank you for the opportunity to have this interview. Excuse
Good.
my voice, I'm losing it. It's going away. So if I sound a little raspy, he's going to be doing most of the talk.
Yeah.
So
That's okay. You better do
Yeah.
most of the talking.
yeah,
We really appreciate you doing this. Like, I mean, it really is an honor to have somebody who worked on the films to be able to speak to them.
Oh, cool, man. It's my honor. Trust me. I appreciate this.
yeah. This is like the first. All of a sudden, it's one day we're like, we should do a podcast. That's out of nowhere. Like, let's do one. I started
Yeah.
watching some. Oh, it seems fun. So let's do one. So for the past like month, we've been like setting everything up. We recorded our first episode last night, which is probably why my voice is going. Um, we were talking for like an hour straight, so that went well. Um, and then, like, what a way to start off like a podcast to have an interview with a producer of the Terrifier movies.
Yeah.
So
Well, listen, if I could help, I help. Hopefully it
yeah,
works out.
yeah. Thank you. Would you like to start?
Um, I mean, just a basic question, like, how is it? Like, what exactly were you focused on during the film? Like, I know special effects was one of the things. What other stuff were you in charge of?
Well, let's see. I as a producer, most producers, there's different portions of producers. Some just put up money, some just make sure that the filming goes on schedule, which never happens. Um, but I've done a little more than that. I've built sets. Me and Damien did all the special effects in Terrifier and Terrifier 2. Terrifier 3, we did a lot less. We did hardly any of these special effects. Damien coordinated. I got to do very, very little of that, very little building, much bigger scale. But Terrifier and Terrifier 2, Damien and I did a lot of stuff. I mean, we had small crew on one, we had a small crew on two. Terrifier 3, we had a huge crew. So it's believe it or not, to me it was a little harder because there was a lot more that you had to wrangle. So
Right. Yeah, we can definitely tell from the first two, obviously because of the low budgets, that all of the eggs, went into all of those practical effects. I'm assuming that's where most of the money went because they're pretty outstanding.
well, the effects when we didn't have a time constraint, so Damien and I built everything. Didn't start filming until we had a lot of the stuff together. Both times we spent months just building the prosthetics and molding people and doing all that and getting everything ready, putting the tubes in and everything. So on Terrifier and Terrifier 2, even though it was low budget, a lot of the money was spent on the materials to do the prosthetics. Um, we didn't use expensive cameras, we didn't use expensive lenses. We did the best we could. The cast has now they're named, but before that it was relatively unknowns. So, costs are down by having a small crew and a lot of people doing a lot of favors. And uh, you know, uh Terrifier 2, I think there was like 9 or 10 people, and they wore so many hats. You can't do this with 9 people that only want to do one job. You do it with 9 people that want to do 30 jobs each.
Mhm. Yeah, that's very cool. Um, Another question that I have is during the production of the first one, did you have hopes or did you have any inkling that this franchise would have popped off the way it did?
No, you try to do the best you can, and when we were done, we felt we did a good job with the amount that we had to do it with, and we were proud of it. And to be honest, I felt we would make our money back and a little bit more. That was pretty accurate until it hit Netflix, and then it was like, holy shit, this is
Yeah.
pretty cool. And when I right before Netflix, actually, I went to a con with Damien and Dave, and I saw people walking around with Terrified things, and I'm like, how did they do that? They made their own shirts, they did this, and I was like, that's pretty friggin' cool. And I asked Damien because I wasn't really into horror films, and I said, how long is that guy out? How long is that? I was looking at Freddy Krueger because at the con, all these guys are there, and I'm like, how long are they? And I'm just like, man, wow, man, the most recent horror icon is like 30 years ago. I said, that's
Yeah.
insane. I said, we got to go bigger for Terrifier 2. Then Terrifier hit Netflix and it like took off a little bit. So the fan base was bigger, and we were doing Terrifier 2 a lot bigger. So it helped that we did it with a little bigger budget. And again, Damien and I, we spent, I think this time, I think we spent about 6 months building props. We built sets in my barn upstate, so kept the overhead down in that aspect. A lot of the kill scenes were done in my barn where we had total control. We didn't have to worry about anything, and we built I think 6 sets in my barn. So you know, like I said, the overhead was nil. It was basically materials, and that was it.
Wow.
That what was your like favorite set to like work with, like other than your barn? Like what was like a nice little area? I mean, even with the budget constraints, what was like your favorite scenes to shoot?
Oh, there's so many favorite scenes because when this was all new to me. I was never in the film business, so
Hmm.
uh, always wanted to be, never did it. Finally getting the chance, doing the special effects. I can tell you there's so many scenes that were amazing. The hacksaw scene, the bedroom scene. The best set was and it's only because it comes with a little bit of a funny story. The clown cafe scene. Yeah, well, doing that scene, me and Damien were down in my basement building the props, and he said we got to push the shoot back, and I said no, we can't. We can't just keep pushing the shoot back. And he said we don't even have a set. And I said we have 4 days to do it. I said he goes, we got to cancel. I said don't cancel. I said you stay here. I grabbed George, our DP, and Jason Levy, and my friend Larry, went upstate, and we built it in 3 days. We built the Clown Cafe.
3 days.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was one of our favorite scenes in Terrifier 2. Like we just loved the visuals and the way Art just handled everything in the
Did his
dream
thing.
sequence. It definitely reminded me of like Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, he's got a lot of, if you look at him, he's got a lot of traits from a lot of different horror icons.
Mhm.
And I think that helps make him who he is.
Yeah, and how was it working with Netflix? Because like I mean, the first one was on Netflix. You guys are not working with Netflix anymore.
Believe it or not, Netflix didn't want Terrifier 2. I heard there was a big transfer of people, but meanwhile on Netflix, it was the number one horror film for 3 months, I believe, and I believe it stayed in the top 10 for 6 months. So it was shocking that they didn't want it, but it was a blessing in disguise because, who knows if Terrifier 2 would have went to Netflix straight off, might not be where we are today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely missed out. But I mean,
I don't think Netflix is going to sweat it too
Probably not.
much.
That's where I caught Terrifier 1 a few years ago. I'm just scrolling through Netflix and I see it. I'm like, oh, that seems interesting. And then now here we are. So,
Cool.
I actually didn't watch Terrifier 1 and 2 until like a month ago, 2 months ago. For some reason, I saw
Why
clips
am
of
I
it.
talking to you then?
All right, I'll see you. But
Now,
yeah, like
listen, it's not, truthfully, these movies aren't for everybody. You hope people like me, I'll say until working on Terrifier, my horror films were Frankenstein, Dracula, Omen,
mhm.
Jaws, which I didn't even consider a horror film. So it's not for everybody, but if you take a peek at it, if you like it, listen, to me, special effects is huge, and we did all practical effects, and it's hard work and it's an art, and Damien is great at it. You could see it. I learned from a very talented young man.
Yeah. How did you come into contact with Damien? Like, did you know him beforehand or?
I met him on, well, the first movie I did was called Joe's War. It was the first time I did anything in films. And it was about PTSD, so I needed a little action scene where there's some blood and everything, and so I turned to my partner on Joe's War and I said I need somebody that can handle blood and everything. And he goes, I just did something with this kid, Damien. So Damien came on set. We were filming. We got along real well. I wanted to see how he was doing things. We did a couple of scenes. We set up. My niece was in the movie, and we put a little prosthetic on her eye, and we were working on that. And he was showing me how to do this shit. And so when we were done shooting, we had become friends. And as you know, we were parting. I said, "Listen, I know you want to do this movie. Just let me know what it is because I'm about to raise money for my next movie. And if it's something I could help you with, I'll throw it in there. Maybe somebody will want to do horror." And he sent me what he was looking for, and I said, "That's all you're looking for?" I said, "I'll do it, but you got to teach me special effects. We'll partner up. We'll do this." I said, "I'll kill myself. I'll do whatever I can to make this work." And that's how it started.
Wow, how lucky you are
Yeah.
that this franchise really popped off with all the hard work and that you've learned. And I was listening to another interview, and you've gotten pretty good at like doing your own special effects now, from
Uh,
like pretty much starting off from little, very little.
yeah, I've never done it before until Terrifier, but I wouldn't say I'm very good at it, but I'd say I could do some stuff now,
Mm,
Listen, when you're in the trenches and you're doing, I'm a hands-on guy, so you know, point me in the right direction, tell me what I got to do. I could pretty much do it. I'm good with my hands. I build things, like I said, I built my own sets. Me and Damien have constructed bodies. I got the animatronic doll to work on the bed, and I've never done that before. So, there's a lot of cool stuff. You learn a lot. You're working with great people, so it makes it a little easier when you're working with people that are very talented. I got to tell you.
yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, what shots like took like the longest to make?
Um, some shots that you would have thought would have taken time didn't, and some shots that you would have thought took nothing were more intense than we thought. But the one that I believe gave us the most trouble was the bedroom scene, where we were we had originally started to shoot it, and Damien was not thrilled with the way it was coming out. So we went back to the drawing board. It was right around COVID too, so that helped out a little bit. We went home, we went back to my basement, we rebuilt things, and we went back, and that's when he said I wanted to move on the bed and everything. So I built a fake bed, turned it into an animatronic. And when we went back, it worked a lot better. The scene in Abracadabra didn't work out well. So when we were done with that, I built sort of a small set of Abracadabra in my barn, and we redid the head getting cut, which is probably one of the things that gets me the most when the cleaver hits the neck. It looks
Yeah,
so real to me that I still cringe when I see it.
yeah. Um, Speaking of the bedroom scene, probably until Terrifier 3, the most, infamous, bloodiest, goriest scene. Like how many takes did that take to shoot?
Uh, it's hard to say. I mean, it's been so long. There's you got to understand. Each first of all, when you're dealing with blood, it's not easy to take a second take, but
Right.
there are quite a few. But the cleanup is insane. So
I
Yeah.
can imagine.
you just got to be careful with it. I couldn't tell you how many takes it took for each shot,
Mm,
but there's a lot of shots in there because, like I said, it's all practical. So you got to get different angles. You got to do all this, and you're working with one camera. You're working in a small area. So you're not going to get more than two or three takes with each particular action.
right.
Yeah, I would say like if you could change anything from the films that like you could just go back and redo, what parts would you like change or like tweak?
You know, again, it's hard to say because listen, nothing's perfect.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person, if it's close, it's good. Damien would probably change just something in every shot. I'm different. I'm like, it came out real nice. I think if we had done something different, Terrifier, the original Terrifier might have put in a little more money, probably tried to do a little more work to it, maybe get better lenses. Um, Terrifier 2, uh, Terrifier 2, I got to be honest with you. I like Terrifier 2 just the way it came out. And I think we corrected the things that we didn't like when it came out. Um, we like I said, we went back and reshot a couple of times. Terrifier 2 took us a long time to film that one due to COVID and stuff. Um, and I'll tell you right now, Terrifier 3, I'm sure after a little while, we're going to say we should have did this, we should have did that, we could have did this.
Mhm.
It will happen all the time, but I'm very happy with the way things have turned out with both Terrifier and Terrifier 2. Now, if you bring me to other projects that I've been on, which aren't many, Joe's War, it was my first film ever, and I would have changed a lot there. I made it too light. I'm not in the atmosphere was very dark and it's PTSD, it's a struggle, and I have these bright rooms and everything. I would have changed. You learn as you go. It was the first film I ever did, so I would have changed things there. Um, Terrifier, I like I said, it probably would have went more money, better equipment, maybe added a crew or two, but changing from there, I don't know if I would have changed much. It came out nice. It's got us to where we are. So I don't know that I would change much, to be honest.
That's good. That's
Well,
a good
yeah,
answer.
that's great. You guys are definitely, we could tell how passionate you guys are about these films. It shows in the works.
Yeah, listen, I always feel if you're gonna do something, you don't go in half-assed. You go in with your both feet, you jump in, you do the best you can. Um, I like to make it like a family. I like to have people that I like working with. I don't want it to feel like work. I want it to feel like, getting together, hanging out, and doing something you love. Um, and I think that's why I enjoy it so much. It makes me feel young again. I'm hanging out with 20 and 30-year-olds, and like oldest is 42 or something. And I'm like, all right, I'm hanging out with these guys. My wife will say, she goes, did you like one of the boys? I say, yeah, I'm like one of the boys, only I'm twice their age. So,
Yeah.
it's cool, but it's making me feel young, it's rejuvenating me, and I'm having fun doing it. It's something I wanted to do when I was a young kid, and I get to do it when I'm an old man.
Yeah. That's awesome. Um, Out of all, I guess now three, but currently two, which one would you pick as like the best one in your opinion?
They they both have qualities. I hate to do that.
Mm,
Both have qualities. I will say I like two better because I like a story. So I like
mm,
something with more meat on the bones. Like I told you, horror is not my main focus on a movie. Like I like thrillers. I like action films. I like, believe it or not, rom-coms. I like comedies. So slasher film is a little different. I'm loving it now,
mm.
but when you got some meat on the bones with a story, I tend to like that better. And I think Terrifier 2 has more of a story than Terrifier 1, a lot more of a story. And I think Terrifier 3 has even more.
That's good.
Hmm.
That was one of the main, I think, complaints or nitpicks from the first one is it's just a kill fest. But now the second one, you can follow something with, enjoyable characters and it fleshes stuff out, which I think was a big criticism that you guys corrected. And it was very well received.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll follow up on that. When we first did Terrifier, I said, you could have Black Leader running and say, go get popcorn, go to the bathroom. You got 3 minutes. Art's going to come and kill somebody.
Mm.
Uh, when I read the script for two, because now Terrifier did well. When I read the script for two, and I had told them we need more story, we need more story. I read the script and I said, "Oh my God, I don't know if I want more story." It did well with no story. I don't know if I'm ruining it. But I like the story better.
Yeah, I think we both agree.
Yeah. It was definitely like we both enjoyed the first film. Like most films have their pros and their cons, but like it definitely was a step direction in for Terrifier 2. And we can't wait for Terrifier 3 and what you guys bring there.
I,
And
I
with
don't think
that
you'll
being
be
said,
disappointed. I don't
Yeah,
think you'll be
no,
disappointed.
no, we're not going to be disappointed.
we
We
hope.
have, I don't want to say high expectations. Like we're going to have to hold you to like a pedestal, but like we
Yeah,
just, we just know that like we have faith in the passion, like it shows. So we're not worried about how that's gonna be, but we'll definitely enjoy it no matter what.
Mm.
I don't think we'll let you down.
Yeah,
No.
from Fantastic Fest, all of the early like reviews, they're very promising with the
Yeah,
kills and
I'm
everything.
listen.
So
I'm glad I'm glad people are enjoying. I just wish nobody would throw spoilers out there because
yeah,
Yeah.
I would like everybody to enjoy it without hearing little tidbits of it. Like, I've been doing some interviews and they keep asking me, tell me something about Terrifier 3. And I say, no, I'm one of those guys, like if I hear somebody talk about it, I don't want to hear that. I
yeah,
want to see it. I want to witness it. I firsthand. So
right.
I think spoilers suck. So let's keep it tight. And we still got a bit of a ways. We got like 2 weeks before it's actually out there for
Mhm.
everybody.
Yeah.
And I think people are going to enjoy it. Like I said, a lot of story, a lot of kills, uh, much bigger production value. This thing, I'm very, very proud of it. It's the biggest thing I've ever done. Like I said, I'm so proud of it. I keep praising Damien. I keep telling him, God, I say, you're so talented, man. And he is. He's talented, even though we butt heads all the time. Because I'm like, Jesus Christ, got to end this fucking thing. Let's move on. But he's like, I need this. I go, yeah, you don't need it, but you do what you can, and you try and stay within certain limits. And I think we're a good team. I do. I'm very proud of him. He's 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 gonna he's gonna be big in this industry.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
definitely.
I mean, his name, like you already know the name, Damien Leone.
A
Yeah.
great name. Got a
Yeah.
great name.
Mhm.
I mean, you said you weren't like the biggest horror fan, but you're like a basic horror fan. Like you like the original slashers. Like
I like the original classics.
The
classic.
My
Universal
classics,
monsters.
my
Oh, okay.
classics, yeah, Universal
Yeah.
Monsters.
Yes.
My classics and not your classic. Your classics are from 20 years ago. Mine are from 50 years ago. So I'm black and white, Dracula, Wolfman, Frankenstein. Although, the first Halloween, cool. Like I said, Damien, The Omen, those were movies for me. The scariest movie I had watched when I was a kid was Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Scared the shit out of me. Betty Davis scares the shit out of me to this day. But uh, as far as slashes, I never really watched the slasher films.
Mhm.
So this is a new mark for me. Matter of fact, the first con I went to, I looked around and I said, "What a bunch of sick bastards." And after that, I still say it, but I say it differently because they're sick bastards, but they're great people. I love them all. I mean, I could tell you, I probably met maybe a couple of people that you could live without, but the rest are like such good people. It's pretty cool. Your fan base is insanely good people in this industry. Which, if you're on the outside looking in, you would say, "What a bunch of freaks."
Yeah,
On the inside, it's a different kind of freak. They're freaky, but they're cool as hell.
yeah, yeah. It's definitely a big thing that people who aren't into it, they see it as a big red flag. Like, oh, you're into this super gory, sadistic stuff. Like you find enjoyment in that, but it's not in that way. It's I don't know how to explain. I don't know what way it is, but it's cool.
But
Like,
that's what I was just saying.
yeah,
Like you're still a bunch of freaks, but good
yeah,
freaks.
yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
freak. Like young kids look at me like, what an asshole. I'm a good asshole, but I'm an
yeah.
Um, so I think they're doing like a monster universe thing. Like was it Bloomhouse? Was Bloomhouse trying to do that?
With what?
The monster universe. Like they're trying to
Oh
create
yeah,
movies.
Blumhouse. They're doing, I think, The Invisible Man. They have the Wolf Man coming out.
Yeah. I mean, if you were like want to do any of those characters and work on any of those type of films, like with those characters, which one would you like choose?
I'm a Frankenstein kind of guy.
You'd want to work on that.
Mhm.
I like Frankenstein. Frankenstein's my man.
The original classic.
Yep. Yep. I,
Can't
I
fault you
like
there.
Frankenstein. My fail-safe would probably be Dracula,
Mm,
then the Wolfman, then after that, doesn't matter if I didn't get those three.
yeah. So would that fall into the same answer of any, I guess we'll stick within the horror genre, but any other horror movie that you wish you had worked on that's already been out? Like what's like number one that you wish you had been a part of?
Oh, I'll be honest with you. I don't look at things that way. I
Mm,
don't look to see like, oh, I wish I did that. I wish I did that. I'm happy with Terrifier. I really am. If if I had to pick a different movie that I would do, I would love to do some type of action film, or even a thriller with less gore. I would like to take a shot at. Um, and I told you before, I like comedies. I would love to do a comedy because I like to laugh. I like to goof around. I like to
mm,
play jokes. Matter of fact, I break everybody's balls on the set. So, I like screwing around. I like having a good time. Comedy is insane, but it's also real hard to do. But I'm happy where I am. I seriously am. A great action film would be awesome to do. Like I love like Mel Gibson's movies. They're like insane.
mm,
I just love those type of movies. I love like Sylvester Stallone movies, Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. Those movies, I get those. For horror films, like I said, if I had to do something, it would be like in the Frankenstein vein or The Omen, something
mm.
like that, more of a thriller type horror film.
Nice. Got anything else? Excuse me. Anything else that
Um,
you got?
well, Terrifier 3 is going to take place Christmas. Whose decision was it to like do a Christmas setting?
Oh, creatively, it's always Damien. We talk about things. We go over certain aspects of it, but uh, Damien is the driver of the franchise. It's his baby. I would never try and talk him out of anything. I'll give him my opinions on things. I'll, give him my thoughts on, what we could throw in there. And he listens to people. Sometimes he takes some advice. Sometimes he just goes with his normal. But his gut, I would put up against anybody's in this industry. He's very talented. He does his own editing. He does his own, he works on every aspect of it. This time we had a lot of help, and I'll be honest with you, most of his stuff still comes back in, even when you're working on sound and music and this and that. He's so hands-on, and he'll ask like, "How do you think? What do you think of this?" And he comes to me because I'll tell him I think it sounds like shit, or I'll say, "Oh, that's awesome." But he's very talented. It's very rare that he'll hear like a lot of the times it'll just be like, "That sounds good," but if I was going to do something, I would just change this or I would just change that. But for the most part, he's like I always liken it to like a somebody has their fingers on the pulse. And
Yeah,
he's got it. He's like so in tune, and he listens. He's not an egomaniac. He listens. He listens to the people. He thinks about it. There's a lot of thought that goes into everything he does. It's never by the seat of his pants. Me, sometimes I'm by the seat of my pants. I like, hey, let's do it. And it or don't do it, but
mm,
it's he thinks it out, he rehashes it. I'll give a quick answer, then I'll have to rethink it and sit back and say, do I really want to say no to this, or do I really want to say yes to this? But he thinks it over before he pulls the trigger on things.
nice. I just got a notification that we're running out of time. I guess Zoom has a time limit, but I have one more question, maybe if it doesn't cut us out. Um, so I'm pretty sure Damien confirmed that there will be a Terrifier 4.
Yes.
Um, was does he kind of make up the story as he goes, or did he always have like a set story of what he wants to do?
He's always had an arc. Now I'm sure it changes here and there, like different times, different things, it's over years now. But he had an arc, and it was always in the plans to do four. Whether
Okay.
whether it surpasses four or not, we don't know. But
Mhm.
again, if his story continues and if it grows, it could be more than four. But right now we're thinking that four is a good time. If again, you never know what happens after that. Plus, you got to hope the fans want to see more than four. You
Right.
don't ever want to get to the point where you say, they should have stopped. And I definitely know we're not there yet because Terrifier 3 is pretty cool.
Mm. You got anything else?
Um, I think I had one more.
One more.
Oh, here it is. So do you have anything? I mean, you made like a lot of the set pieces. So like, do you still have a lot of those set pieces? Like, or did you like break them
Oh, my,
down, do anything with
my,
them?
if my wife was here, she'd scream. We have, we have just about everything, and it's 90% of it is in my house. We got so
Nice.
much, we
Like a
got so much
museum.
up in my house. It's insane. We, from making molds, we still have stuff. I still have molds from Stream in my basement,
Wow.
which
Yeah,
is another
that's
movie I wish the people get to see. Stream. Yeah,
Yeah, we'll definitely
a
keep
lot
an
of
eye
work
out for
on
that
that.
one to watch
Yeah,
it
I
when it's
heard,
on.
I heard a lot of good buzz about that one too.
yeah, pretty cool movie. Buzz Boys pulled that one together.
Mhm.
Did a lot of work on that. They really did well.
All right, I actually have one final question. Speaking of for Art, the clown himself, David Howard Thornton, for him to get into character that you've seen, is it like a very quick transition, or does he have to spend a little bit to get into that mimey role?
I think on Terrifier it was a little harder. On Terrifier 2, it got a little easier. On Terrifier 3, yeah, I mean, it's second nature to him now.
Yeah.
It's like a glove. It
Mm,
fits, and it's just like, all right, come on, get over here, let's go. Turn into art.
mm.
You know, it's pretty much like that. That's what it seems like to me. He might be, if he ever watches this, he might say, "What a piece of shit. I fucking work hard." But
Yeah.
it took two movies to get to this point, but to me, it looks like he's got it down pat. Like he
Mm.
knows what Damien wants. Damien knows how to, communicate with him. So I think it's a little easier now than it was from the beginning. I'm sure it's easier. I don't know how easy, but it seems like he's got it down pat.
Gotcha.
Well, is it ever creepy? Like one scene he'll be miming and stuff, and the next he's like, "All right, we're done," and just starts talking.
Oh,
Like,
you know what? Anybody that hasn't seen him, he's he's like Bugs Bunny. He's 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 goofy, he's clowny, but I'm used to it. So when he's in
Mm.
character, he's Art the Clown. When he's out of character, he's Dave. And it just I see them both the same now. It doesn't matter. It's like it doesn't affect me at all. But I'm sure other people, like you see kids that are near him and they're like nervous, and then all of a sudden he talks
Mm.
to them for about 5 minutes and they're like, oh shit, he's cool, he's funny. So
Yeah.
I think you get used to him real quick. He's very personable.
Mm. Nice. You got anything else?
yeah, I mean, we're actually going to be meeting him in our area. He's going to be down at one of these Halloween shops.
Oh, cool. Where he is at?
We're like,
Long
About
Island.
it's
Bucks
in Pencil.
County,
Yeah,
Where is it?
like right in Bucks,
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
You said,
Yeah.
oh,
yeah.
because
Yep.
there's a in Long Island. That's why I was.
Gotcha.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Pennsylvania. That's cool. Yeah, it's not far.
Yep.
Well, he's in California, but he travels all over. So
Mm.
Yeah, it's in like December.
Yeah.
you'll have fun with him. He's like I said, he's personable. He's friendly.
Mm.
He'll talk to you. I don't know if he's getting pictures with him a lot, but he gets they dress him up in the costume sometimes. I don't know if that's going to happen in Pennsylvania. I don't know.
I think it said he'll be in costume,
Oh, okay. So that's
so I don't know if he'll talk or not. So
oh, he
Yeah.
won't talk in
yeah,
costume. He shouldn't be talking when he's in
right.
costume. Out of costume, you can't shut him up.
Yeah. All right. I think that's all we got.
Yeah.
Cool,
We want to
man.
thank you again.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for sure.
Thank you. And then just want to confirm, like we can post this. This is okay to
Oh
post.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, do
Thanks.
what you got to do. Hopefully you get some fans. Hopefully you get some people to watch, and that's fun for me.
Mhm.
Hopefully it works out for you guys.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
We hope so.
Yeah.
No problem, man.
All right. Thanks.
Take it easy.
Have a
Yeah.
good rest of your night.
Have a good
You
day.
too.